Hey, Long Beach. It's Jerlene, and I'm live. Play with my lighting here. Let's see, do I have this right? It's Jerlene, I'm live. Just wanted to give, I want to see what's best. I got a little lamp. I've had the lamp for a while. Very rarely do I even play with the lighting. Kind of like that one. There we go. Something nice and soft. Jerlene Live. It is Wednesday, September 20th. Spent my day listening to school board meeting, or my morning listening to a school board meeting. And then I attended this evening's Long Beach Unified School District meeting. Had a little mini adventure today. I actually went down to Berth 55 and had lunch on a boat. It was a networking event for the West Long Beach Business Association, and I was invited. So I went down for a little bit, and then I headed over to the Long Beach Unified School District Board meeting. But anyway, this morning I shared just some thoughts about what was happening at the school board meeting. Very interesting. And I just wanted to share just some thoughts on a few things. I've been vocal for years around just the politics in our city and around issues as it relates to education of students here in Long Beach. And it's interesting, some of the comments that I get back from people. Like, I posted something, I went live last week, and I talked about the press release that came out from Long Beach Unified School District Board member Eric Miller and his announcement for re-election. And I talked about that and how angry and frustrated I was with that announcement and the claims that he made in that announcement. And it was really interesting, the comments that I got from people, some publicly, some privately, about, well, have you talked to him privately, and why don't you share your thoughts with him one-on-one, and and then I get the, why are you attacking a black man, all that nonsense. And so I want to talk about public officials. Individuals who have been elected to serve in our local government, whether it be a school board member, a city council member, mayor, assembly, Congress, whoever they are elected to serve the public. They are elected by the public. They're elected by me, by you, by your uncle, by your neighbor, by your pastor, whoever it is that cast a vote. They are elected. They are voted by the people. Now, are all elections fair? Heck no, especially not in Long Beach. There's a whole bunch of shenanigans that go on with political campaigns, and I'm not even going to talk about that. Yet, no matter how they're elected, whether it be justly or unjustly, they become a public official. Public. They belong to the public. They are part of the public. They're a public official. They become public figures. Public. Hence, for those of us who choose to share our thoughts publicly, we have a right to do that. In every body of government, there is supposed to be opportunity for us to express ourselves publicly and on record. And so I do a lot, again, commentary about different things, and people are like, well, why don't you go make public comment? I make public comment when I feel a need to make public comment, when I have the desire for something to be on the record. There are other ways that we can get things on the record. It doesn't have to be giving public comment in a meeting. Whenever we send an email directly to a public official, to their official email address, to the agency in which they are attached to, that becomes a public record. Now, someone had made comments about, you making a video isn't making a difference. Okay. If that's what people believe, then that's fine. The reason I continue to use my voice and advocate in this manner is because I know that it does work. Okay? It does work. So with that, tonight I went to the Long Beach Unified School District Board meeting, and I gave public comment on the record. And you know what? I did not bring my notes. I don't have my notes with me right now. I'm going to share my 3 minutes. And the comment that I made to the school board, the entire school board, was reminding them of their roles and responsibilities to the public as an elected official. And I also asked them to be mindful, actually not even to be mindful, I asked them to not involve themselves in the politics of this city. Last year, we had multiple school board members. Now, some people may see our school board members at a different level of importance in our local government. They may not think our school board members are as important as our city council. I personally believe that our school board members, because they represent our future, because they represent our children, and they represent education, I actually think that they should carry themselves in a higher standard. So last year during our election, we had multiple school board members. There's only 5, okay? There's only 5, by the way, in Long Beach, 5 areas that immersed themselves in the local politics of Long Beach. And not only did they immerse themselves, they were guilty, and I'm saying guilty, of sharing political propaganda, lies, and trying to use their influence, their position, their power, their label, their title to influence voters to vote for their candidate of choice. And some of that was based on lies. Actually, the majority of it was based on lies. And I went to the school board meeting and basically asked them to not do that again. Because what happened in that, and I don't even know if the board members are aware or even if they even care, not only did they violate the public trust, they created rifts in our community, in the community of folks that have been advocating for education. And now there are, and I'll be straight up, because I addressed the shenanigans last year, and I did not get in line with the mindset of the status quo and the propaganda. It impacted the work that I do in community to the point of where there are certain people in the education realm that will not even speak to me. Now, do I care about them not speaking to me? No, I don't. But what I do care about is how it impacts the work that needs to happen within our city when it comes to education and the educating of our children. If our children are not properly educated on all levels, and if they do not have good character, if they don't learn good character while they're going through this education process, our future is doomed. Okay? It's doomed. And some examples. These snatch and grabs that are happening. The snatch and grabs, what do they call it when they shut down the streets and they be doing the crazy stuff in the streets and stuff, and the mob mentality that's happening at the schools of where, groups of kids are jumping on other kids. That's a tie to our education system. And like I said, so if they're not being properly educated or even learning character within our school systems, we're doomed. We are absolutely doomed. Our children spend more time at a institution, an educational institution, than they spend in our own homes. They spend more time with their peers and other adults than they do with the parents or those that are responsible for them. So to me, I feel that our education system is so important. So if we don't have good leadership or good representation in that, guess where it's reflected? It's reflected in the character of our children. So Long Beach Unified School District, it has a board, and under the board, executive staff. Under executive staff, you have teachers, you have facilities, staff, or admin staff of the school site, and all the different people that you or your child may interact with. You have a board that's absent. You have a board that's uninformed. You have a board that's so self-consumed with themselves and their individual advancement in politics. Guess what? It's reflected all the way down. And our school system cannot be held accountable if the people who's supposed to be holding them accountable are politicking. So anyway, I went to the school board tonight to share that because it's something that's really been on me, and I don't like to say that I was triggered, right? Because I think to be triggered is actually a choice. But I was very unhappy with the announcement that came out from School Board Eric Miller a few weeks ago. And so people are like, well, you should tell him to his face. I did. I told him that I was very offended. I told him to his face, offended that he was taking credit for work he did not do. His response was, I didn't do that. So maybe he doesn't read his own press releases. That's possible. But again, here it is, holding people to a higher standard. In education, we should be holding our leadership to a higher standard because they are our future. What happens in the education system is who turns out our council members, who turns out our assembly members. They have to go, unless they go to private school. But still, even in those cases, those educators are still held accountable because they're accountable to a board. And so anyway, I had wanted to share that. So thoughts on leadership, that was one thing. The other thing, public officials, public entities, public figures, they're public. Something that was really funny to me today, listening to the school board meeting, and this is just something that like really gets me, y'all, is when I hear people in the education field or area say "where at." Where and at do not belong in the same sentence. And every time I hear that, I go, wow, we're talking about English standards and you saying "where at." No wonder our children are, under 50% are proficient in English. Where at? Where they at? Because if we're not modeling, right, we should be modeling. Now, I ain't perfect. I'm a hot mess. You can ask my children. But my children, because of the standards I attempt to hold them to, they will check me hard. And believe me, I'll be sitting there looking like this. Because my kids will call me out in a minute when I do something that is inconsistent with what I expect of them. And so public comment, it's all of our right to give public comment. However we decide to give it, whether we decide to give it on record, to give it online. The one thing that I do recommend or suggest is that when we do it with integrity, that we do it with a standard. I had some conversation. There's a group, a Facebook group, and in the Facebook group, someone called someone out of their name in a post. And although the word that was used was something that was connected to the resource that they shared, it still called someone out of their name. I'll call someone a nitwit, a moron. I will do that, but I don't use vulgar language, at least not on social media, to call people out. Now, have some words slipped out my mouth? Because I'm not perfect, but I do still hold myself to a standard. And I think that even when we are expressing our thoughts about our public officials, let's hold ourselves to a standard. And let's be also about facts, not fiction, not feeling. Someone hurting my feelings, I could give a damn about. But are you not doing what you were supposed to do? And what's so interesting, even in our conversations, and this is just not in Long Beach, we turn to where we start trying to assassinate each other's character, or we become children in our responses to each other. That's not holding each other accountable either. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I know I haven't really been really active with being consistent in sharing other messages. I'm trying to get beginning of the school year, my kids got some busy schedules, and this mama is busier than she has ever been before with her children. I still got the little one that we hanging tight homeschooling, which I'm happy with right now. My high schooler decided he wanted to try out for a sport. I'll let y'all know more about that as we that progresses. I have a freshman in college now who loves going to school. And that is so amazing to me. So that's where my attention has been. But I know there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of politicking going on. I'm definitely going to continue that conversation. I do have some things that I want to share about the cemetery issue that I was discussing a few weeks ago. Have not forgot about that. That is still an issue. And there are some other issues that have come up around that. So I will, because people have been asking. And then, of course, you know, Long Beach politics. We're about to enter into campaign season. Use your voice, people. Don't be afraid to use it. We have a right to do so. Show up at these meetings. Give public comment. Give public comment even when you think it's useless. Okay? We have to do that even when we think it's useless. That's it. Y'all have a good night. And yeah. Take care, Long Beach. Jerlene, Mama with a Voice. I'm not afraid to use it. Just tapping in to inform, engage, inspire. Hopefully I made somebody laugh.